You're watching CNN News 18. This is Nation at 5 with me, Poonam Burde. The focus at this hour is the key issue that's happening between India and the United States. It's the 2+2 format dialogue that is happening today. Both meetings were held by the counterparts of Defense and Ministry of External Affairs of India and United States this morning. We in fact are going to be having the Secretaries of State Antony, Blinken and Lloyd Austin calling on the Prime Minister just a short while from now. We will be standing by for that, but it was a productive meeting between all four of them. There was a 2+2 dialogue that was held. There was a bilateral that was held by External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar with his counterpart Antony Blinken as well. Several issues were on the agenda and were discussed, many of which were people-to-people ties, and that is very important, is what the leaders outlined when they made their opening remarks this morning. Listen in to what they had to say, and that is setting the stage as far as ties between the two countries and strengthening them is concerned.
The India-US bilateral relationship has seen a growing convergence of strategic interests and enhanced defense, security, and intelligence cooperation. Defense remains one of the most important pillars of our bilateral relationship. Your visit to India is at a time when India and US are closer than ever before. In spite of various emerging geopolitical challenges, we need to keep our focus on the important and long-term issues. Our partnership is critical for ensuring a free, open, and rules-bound Indo-Pacific region. We look forward to closely working with the US across the domains of defense for capability building and for an abiding partnership which can address emerging challenges.
We're meeting at a time of great momentum in the United States and India partnership. In the face of urgent global challenges, it's more important than ever that the world's two largest democracies exchange views, find common goals, and deliver for our people. We've made impressive gains in building our major defense partnership over the past year, and that will help us contribute even more together to the cause of peace and stability. We're integrating our industrial bases, strengthening our interoperability, and sharing cutting-edge technology. The scope of our cooperation is vast. As our ambassador is fond of saying, it stretches from the seabed to space. And of course, the strength of our partnership is rooted in the people-to-people ties that are the heart of our long-standing friendship.
And its highlight this year was the Prime Minister's historic state visit to the United States in June, which has truly opened a new chapter in our relationship. President Biden's visit to Delhi in September contributed immensely as well to the positive trajectory of our ties. His support was key to ensuring productive outcomes at the G20 summit. The dialogue today will be an opportunity to advance the vision of our respective leaders, building a forward-looking partnership while we construct a shared global agenda. In the 2+2, we will undertake, as we have done before, a comprehensive overview of cross-cutting strategic defense and security ties, technology and supply chain collaborations, and people-to-people exchanges.
We're harnessing together the power of innovation to make our economies more resilient and to make our communities more secure while expanding inclusive economic opportunity. That's evident in the cooperation on semiconductors and advanced biotechnology, on our unprecedented investments in deploying clean energy at scale in our countries as well as across the region, and our joint research and exploration projects in space. We're bolstering our partnership in international peace and security, and specifically working to promote the world's rules-based order and uphold the principles at the heart of the United Nations Charter: sovereignty, territorial integrity, independence. Our defense cooperation, which we're strengthening again today, is a key pillar of that work. Finally, we're deepening the remarkable ties between our people, which is really at the heart of everything, exploring new educational exchanges, even building on what you've already described, steps to facilitate travel between our countries, reducing visa wait times,
Abhishek, my colleague, joining us, getting us more details of how productive this meeting was between Antony Blinken, S Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, Rajnath Singh and his counterpart from the United States, Lloyd Austin. Abhishek, we do know now the last engagement is left for the Secretaries of State. They are going to be calling on Prime Minister Modi in just a short while from now before they embark on the plane back to the United States. But as far as the 2+2 dialogue goes, if you could give us the highlights of what exactly was discussed today.
Well, the two sides discussed all the gamuts of bilateral relationship that included people-to-people exchange, defense partnership, issues like free and open Indo-Pacific, issues of South China Sea. Of course, the dominance of China and its conduct in the region was also an area of discussion. Also, the regional and global issues of importance, like the Israel-Hamas conflict, which is ongoing, where the issue of terrorism was highlighted between the two sides. And also the humanitarian crisis that has emerged in the Gaza Strip in the wake of counteroffensive launched by Israel. As Foreign Secretary Quatra also mentioned after the meeting in the press, that the both sides were convinced that the civilian casualties that is happening in Gaza, that should also be brought down, and the terrorism needs to be condemned in all its form and manifestation. Also, the issue of how to engage more on the new and emerging technologies, critical technologies, and how
Yes.
can new technologies. That is something that the two sides are discussing more, and that also kind of tells the trust and deep-rooted friendship and ties that the two nations are forging in these days, because the critical technologies like GE engine transfer or new drones for Navy and Army is something that USA is agreeing to share with India, and that is going to be a long and sustainable partnership. Only then USA would like to partner with such critical technology with some country or allies, and that is happening to be India.
Absolutely. Do stay on with me. Former diplomat J.K. Tripathi joining us here on this broadcast. So thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. Now, this 2+2 format of negotiations, of dialogue between India and the United States started not too long ago. It started in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. How important do you think is this format between just, the counterparts of defense and external affairs as far as the bigger scheme of things, the bigger ties between India and US are concerned?
Well, you see, as you have rightly pointed out, it started between US and India, it started in 2018. Before that, it was in different formats propagated by President Barack Obama. But then, in order to move critically forward and in order to have better understanding and faster decisions, this 2+2 was envisaged. But let me tell you that 2+2 is not only with the USA, but with all the Quad countries, that is USA, Australia and Japan. And not only that, 2+2 is with Russia also. Last meeting had been, last 2 and 2 between India and Russia was in sometime in December 2021, and second meeting is yet to be held. So this format itself encourages and accelerates the relationship and decision thereon between the two countries. With UK also, we have some sort of mechanism which is a step less than a degree less than 2 and 2. There also it is 2+2, but not between the ministers. It is between the defense and the foreign secretaries of the two countries. So that is how we are going ahead, and in this current 2 and 2, which was held today, it discussed many things, including the international flashpoints in Israel, Gaza, and Ukraine, plus critical technology, plus green energy, transition to green energy, and the funding for that. Plus, it has also discussed the matter of production in India of this GE engine for aircraft and MQ-9 Predator drones, and as well as the production of semiconductors and critical metal technology. So they reviewed the decisions which were made during the visit of Prime Minister Modi to USA in June. So this type of, I would say, this is now a very essential and very effective mechanism which India has with many countries, four other countries.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, in the larger scheme of things, this is important to iron out differences that eventually do lead to a smoother transition when the heads of state sit together. J.K. Tripathi, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18 and sharing your perspective. Major General A.K. Sivach also joining us here on this broadcast. So thank you so much for speaking with us here. When we talk about defense ties between India and the United States, there is a lot of collaboration, lot of cooperation in terms of co-production of some of these assets are concerned, and that is something that was discussed today as well. How important do you think that is as far as the ties between the two countries as a whole are concerned?
No doubt. This is very, very important. Earlier, America never used to transfer the technology, leave aside giving us the best of the weapon system. The first one which they did was M777 ultralight Howitzer, which is now being made by Mahindra Defense. Now, the deal which has been signed very recently, one is about the jet engine, which is G414, which is being jointly manufactured by General Electrical and by Hindustan Aero Limited in India itself. And this will be an engine which will be fitted in Tejas Mark 1 Alpha, which is a 4.5 generation aircraft. So this will be a game changer once we get this engine, and that too transfer of technology and jointly produce in India itself. So this is one thing one can say proudly, that yes, we will able to also manufacture jet engine, which used to be a big problem for India. And the second thing, what we are now getting is MQ-9 drones Reaper. There is 31 of them. And these are state-of-art drones. 15 are for the Indian Navy and 8 each for the Indian Air Force and Indian Army. Now, they again are very important. As on today, the best drones available in the world, which can be utilized for surveillance, recce, and even they have a missile fitted in that. It is also where it can basically hit the target. And this is what we needed today, not only on to keep a surveillance on Indian Ocean, but also on the line of control and line of action control. So these two things are very, very important. Another thing where there is a coordination, cooperation taking place is basically a semiconductor and chips, which is also very critical for most of the weapon systems which are available. Now there also we are having a joint production, and we are going to have this plant coming in Gujarat itself. So therefore, as far as India and US is concerned, after we have signed 4 basic agreements, starting from LEMIA, that is the Logistic Exchange Memorandum of Agreement, basically where both sides can utilize each other port facility, and there followed by the COMCASA, Communication Compatibility and Security Arrangement, where we can say that the technology which is critical also can be transferred between both the countries. And the latest one was the BECA, Basic Exchange Cooperation Agreement, wherein you can then now pass on to each other the real-time intelligence. Now that is a game changer where, the USA can pass you the latest real-time intelligence about your adversary. So that again is required. So overall, India and US relationship is on the upswing, and that again started from 2000 onwards, irrespective whether it is a Republican government or basically a Democrat government. Bipartisan understanding there. We are a strategic partner to each other, and a lot of coordination,
and this 2+2 format or this forum really is definitely, there's no doubt as to the kind of advancement that this forum is helping us do as far as strengthening those areas are concerned. But Major Sivach, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18 and sharing your perspective. On that note, let's also listen in to what the Foreign Secretary was asked as far as Canada is concerned. Now, India and United States have been talking about the issues that matter to the two of us, but there is an issue with Canada and India. Did that come up? What was discussed? Listen in to what the government had to say.
In today's 2+2 discussions, the principals on both sides Honorable Raksha Mantri Ji, External Affairs Minister on the Indian side, Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense on the US side, undertook a comprehensive review of our bilateral relations. We discussed of multiple partnerships relating to the emerging area of critical and emerging technologies, value chain and supply chain securitization of different products and services, partnership in the field of space, our continuing engagement in the field of mineral securities through the Mineral Security Partnership Framework. So far as Canada is concerned, we have been having very consistent conversation with all our friends and partners. And our position on this matter has been enunciated, explained in full detail at multiple occasions, including in the weekly pressers that Arindam hosts. And the thrust of our conversation with our partners.
Moving on now to the Delhi-NCR region, and that really has been feeling the heat or at least breathing poisonous air for a few days now. Some respite came to the fore this morning because of late night showers. Not only did the temperatures dip, we also saw pollution go down a little. Unfortunately, there's much left to be desired because the air quality is still in the very unhealthy or severe category in most parts of the National Capital Region. That is something that echoed in the Supreme Court as well. Once again today, the Supreme Court came down heavily on the state governments of Delhi and the neighbouring states as to why not enough is being done to ensure that this is not the same story every single year. For 6 years, we've been hearing the same story and nothing changes, was the observation the Supreme Court made. They also went on to say that we cannot let people die, and that is something that the governments will have to change. It is your business to do so, was the clear message that the Supreme Court sent out, especially to the Delhi government. So what exactly are the key observations and what exactly happened in court today? Let's take a look at some of those observations that came to the fore from the Supreme Court. Farm fires must stop and the AQI must improve. That was the clear message that came to the fore from the Supreme Court. They also went on to say that we don't need any more reports, we don't need affidavits, we need to see that action is being taken. You must walk the talk, was the clear message that was sent out. Implement emergency measures if you have to, but do it and do it soon, was what the Supreme Court told all the state governments, especially the Delhi government. Previous SC orders applicable to all states was also made clear, not just to Delhi, but the neighbouring states of Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan were also to comply with the orders and the directions that have been given so far. Use technology to examine farm fires and put an end to stubble burning. That needs to stop, and it needs to stop as soon as possible, is what the Supreme Court came out and said. Post the hearing, we now know that the rationale that the Delhi government gave to the court as far as the odd-even formula went perhaps did not find any merit, which is why the government has now decided to postpone it. We do not know whether it is going to be in effect at all this season or not. Before now, beginning Monday, there is going to be no odd and even scheme that is going to be implemented in Delhi. We did a status check on ground as to what exactly the day looked like for the people of Delhi. Take a look.
Western disturbance-induced rainfall has brought a fresh respite for the Delhiites against pollution. In most part of the NCR, the AQI has gone down below the level of 200. So we are comparatively breathing a fresh air, and the wind speeds has also improved in parts of the NCR. Currently, we are reporting from the Kartavya Path area. If we talk about in comparison with yesterday, the site was not visible, from this particular place, and this is just a distance away. But today, because of the improved wind speeds, this site can be seen properly and it is also visible. And if you talk about the further details, we have been given to us by the IMD department that the rain is likely to continue for few more hours, and also this is happening because of the fresh western disturbance. These are the pictures we are showing you now from the Vijay Chowk side area, where you are better able to draw a comparison with yesterday as to how the air quality has drastically improved in last 24 hours because of the fresh spell of rain rainfall. But if we talk about the further details, today the Supreme Court is also set to hear the petition as far as the air quality is concerned in the capital city. There are many of the measures which have been taken, but so far the stubble burning is said to be the major reason. But amid all this, the weather has currently brought a huge respite against the pollution.
पॉल्यूशन तो बहुत ज़्यादा था. एक्चुअली मैं डे बिफोर येस्टरडे ही लैंड कर रही हूँ, और जब हम एयरपोर्ट से निकले, मैं और मेरे हस्बैंड, तो इट वाज लाइक पैथेटिक. मतलब मैं अपना स्पेक्स साफ कर रही थी, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. मुझे समझ ही नहीं आ रहा था ये क्या है, फॉग है, ठंड है या क्या वेदर है. तो वी वर कम्प्लीटली शॉक्ड. बट उसके बाद हम घर गए, मास्क लिया. हमें घर जाते जाते भी मतलब छींके और ये सब स्टार्ट हो गई थी. बट आज जो कंपैरिजन में देख रही हूँ, इट्स मच मच बेटर.
सांस लेने में क्या लग रहा है ऐसा कि जैसे सुबह होती है ना, तो दिल्ली की तो आप तो देखते हैं हवा, और ऐसे सुकून सा पल महसूस हो रहा है वैसे.
Finally, after 7 days, when the people of the national capital were forced to breathe in toxic air, in air that was actually in the severe category and was above the 400 mark, the PM 2.5 was above the 400 mark. Today, the people of the national capital are actually breathing in fresh air. Because of the surprise rains that has happened just before the Diwali, the AQI national capital has dropped to around the 100 mark, although it is still in the unhealthy category, but it can be seen as a massive relief for the people out here in the national capital. I'll just try and show you in the visuals over here, and the visuals speak for themselves today as well. We have been reporting for the past 7 days of how the AQI in the national capital has gone from bad to worse, and in fact the steps that were taken by the government had very little to no effect on the AQI out here in the national capital. But today, as you can see, there is a breath of fresh air that can be felt out here in the national capital, bringing a massive relief to the residents who were actually running from pillar to post just to get a grasp of fresh air. Today the AQI is hovering somewhere between the 100 and 200 mark, although it is still in the unhealthy category. But yes, it can be seen as a big Diwali gift that has come up from the gods themselves to provide some sort of relief to the people out here in New Delhi.
Late night showers in Delhi and the national capital region in itself came as a surprise to many when they woke up this morning. It definitely brought down mercury. It definitely brought down some of the pollutants as well. Take a look at what people of Delhi had to say.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
ये बारिश की वजह से है, जो पोल्यूशन जो है भूल गया है, तो सांस लेने में अच्छा लग रहा है. मौसम बढ़िया है इस समय.
वेदर काफी अच्छा हो गया है, और दिनों से लेकर आज जो बारिश हुई है रात को, उसके काफी AQI लेवल भी अच्छा हो गया है. मौसम भी अच्छा है, और इससे पहले 4 दिन पहले तो इतनी धुंध थी कि मास्क पहन के भी मतलब सांसें सूख रही थी लोगों की. और हम तो जो बुजुर्ग लोग हैं उनको ये सलाह दे रहे थे कि धूप निकलने के बाद ही बाहर निकलें या घर पर योगा करें, क्योंकि AQI लेवल इतना डाउन है दिल्ली का, तो मॉर्निंग वॉक का कोई बेनिफिट ही नहीं है उसमें.
हम यहाँ पे आए इसलिए थे कि बारिश हो गई, एक तो मौसम बदल गया और पॉल्यूशन तो ऑलमोस्ट खत्म ही हो गया आज यहाँ पे. मतलब मौसम इतना लाजवाब है कि इसका कोई कहना नहीं है. हम ये लगाइए रात भर जाग के अभी इसलिए आगे इंडिया गेट पे मौसम को एंजॉय करने के लिए. हवा साफ है, गर्म चाय पी रहे हैं, इससे बढ़िया क्या होगा. और
With that, it's time for a quick break here on this edition, but lots lined up for you on Nation at 5. Don't go anywhere.
Some of those escaping on Thursday said they feared another Nakba, the catastrophe of their mass dispossession after Israel was founded in 1948.
They are driving people to schools and scaring them so they would leave. What we see today is a plan for a second exodus.
What do things look like behind us? Death and destruction. Death and destruction.
US President Joe Biden says he's seeking a longer halt of 3 days to help secure the release of hostages held by Hamas.
We're hopeful. Things are moving along.
Israel unleashed its assault on Gaza in response to a cross-border raid by Hamas gunmen, who killed 1,400 people, mostly civilians, as well as kidnapping about 240. But the plight of Palestinians trapped in the besieged enclave has stoked global calls for a ceasefire. which is rejected by Israel and its main ally, the United States. Palestinian officials said more than 10,800 Gaza residents had been killed as of Thursday, about 40% of them children. At a humanitarian conference in Paris on Thursday, officials from about 80 countries and organisations were trying to coordinate a response. Jan Egeland heads the Norwegian Refugee Council.
We cannot wait a minute more for a humanitarian ceasefire across Gaza for all of the civilian population there. And we cannot wait a minute more for a lifting of the siege, which is collective punishment of 1 million children.
نار لهيب والناس من جوا بعدين بتصور خروجي صعب انه يمثلني وانا في بلدي قاعد هيا خلينا تنزل يلا حطوه طيب الشمعة في وجهه يلا الله هاي ما شاء الله بفوجه ولا يهمك عاد كلنا اولادك ها نعم ولا يهمك كلنا اولادك اذا كانت الدنيا بخير جننتنا الحج هيا تعال يلا
شفت الوطن ايش بده؟ شفت الوطن ايش بده؟
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5 with me, Poonam Burde. And the story we're focusing on at this hour comes from Bihar, where Nitish Kumar seems to be in another controversy. Just 2 days after he stoked a row with his comments that he said were meant about population control and about educated women. But people thought it was misogynistic. There was an apology that was sought from him, which he did tender, but protests continued. Yesterday, when the Bihar Assembly reconvened once again, there was a shouting match between Nitish Kumar and former Chief Minister Jitan Ram Manjhi. In fact, there was some allegations that were made by Nitish Kumar against Jitan Ram Manjhi that has now stoked a controversy, with both Manjhi and the BJP going on to say that the Chief Minister is being anti-Dalit. Listen in to the reactions pouring in.
हम इसको बना दिए। इसके बाद जितना मेरी पार्टी का लोग था, सब हमको 2 ही महीना में कहने लगा कि गड़बड़ है, इसको हटाइए। और अंत में हमको बाध्य किया, तो फिर हम बन गए थे। कहता रहता है कि ये भी मुख्यमंत्री थे। अरे क्या मुख्यमंत्री था? ये तो मेरी मूर्खता से मुख्यमंत्री बना। आप ऊपर वाला भी जान लो। आप बिना मतलब का रोज इसको पब्लिश करते हो, कोई सेंस है इसमें? मंत्री महोदय, मुख्यमंत्री, अध्यक्ष महोदय, प्रभारी मंत्री, अध्यक्ष महोदय, अध्यक्ष महोदय, माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी, आपकी विशेष कृपा हुई है तब न बने हैं, हो गया। अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं आप इसको, आप चाहता है गवर्नर बनना। हम लोगों के साथ था, तब भी जाके उल्टा पुल्टा बोलता था, तो लगा दीजिए गवर्नर इसको। अरे बनना चाहता है ये, इसको गवर्नर बनवा दीजिए इसको। अरे आप कहानी बनाते हैं गवर्नर, इसको गवर्नर बनवा दीजिए। अरे छोड़ो ना भाई, हम जानते हैं गवर्नर बनना चाहता है, बनवा दीजिए गवर्नर।
Moving on now to the poll-bound state of Rajasthan. Just a few days to go before Rajasthan votes. What exactly is the mood on ground? Is the Congress confident that they are going to beat the trend as far as a rotational party coming to power is concerned? We spoke to the former Deputy Chief Minister, Sachin Pilot, on multiple issues. What are the issues on voters' minds? What about the CM face? And is the rift between him and Gehlot finally over? Listen in to what he had to tell us.
5 साल कांग्रेस, 5 साल बीजेपी, तो इस बार क्या बदलाव होगा?
जी नहीं होगा, यहाँ पर सचिन पायलट ही जीतेंगे।
वो तो आप टोंग की बात कर रहे हो, मैं पूरे राजस्थान की बात।
राजस्थान में भी गहलोत साहब लोकप्रिय मुख्यमंत्री हैं और पुनः वही लौटने वाले हैं।
आपको लगता है कि बहुत वक्त बर्बाद हो गया ये पायलट और गहलोत की लड़ाई में?
हाँ, कुछ फर्क तो पड़ा है।
नहीं लड़ते तो ठीक रहता?
हाँ, नहीं लड़ते तो शायद बेहतर होता।
अच्छा बाबू, एक बात बताइए कि चुनाव में दोनों पार्टियां बहुत सारा वादा करते हैं, हाँ, कि हम पैसा डालेंगे अकाउंट में, महिलाओं के लिए ये कर देंगे, नौकरियां देंगे। जब आप लोग वोट डालने जाते हो तो आपके दिमाग में क्या रहता है कि हमें अपने नेता से क्या चाहिए?
देखिए, जनता नेताओं से विकास चाहती है। विकास सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा होता है रोजगार, दूसरा मुद्दा होता है महंगाई, तीसरा होता है सामाजिक सुरक्षा। इन 3 मुद्दों को विशेष तौर पर देखती है। चौथा जो मुद्दा होता है वो मेडिकल का होता है, और मेडिकल के हिसाब से जो गहलोत साहब ने किया है भारत में मिसाल है।
क्या जो पैसे बांटे जा रहे हैं अकाउंट में महिलाओं के, जो बहुत सारे बच्चे हैं जिनका पेपर लीक हुआ, वो भी एक मुद्दा है। बात चलती है लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की, सुरक्षा औरतों का ठीक नहीं है, लोगों के साथ ठीक नहीं है। क्या इस बार चुनाव के समय ये सब चीज़ मायने रखते हैं?
अरे काई मायने ना कर, गाँव फ्री दे रहे, पैसा दे रहे, पेंशन दे रहे, गरीबा बाप बेटा ने बेटो बाप ने 5 रुपये दे, वो 1000 रुपये दे रही गहलोत। और दूसरी बात कहीं गैस फ्री कर दियो और गाँव फ्री कर दियो, लाइट को बिल फ्री कर दियो। अब फिर ईश्वर तो कहीं से आई उसको गहलोत तो ये और भी न करे मेरे गहलोत साहब की बात से।
Do you think your fight or whatever you want to call it was futile? Maybe you just wasted your time because at the end of the day, you are not even being projected as CM face. He's also not being projected as a CM.
I think, a lot of our friends in journalists' lives, you try and make things fighting and, a waste of time.
Sulking?
No one was sulking. No one is fighting.
It's hard to believe.
That's up to you. I'm saying I've done my politics based on some issues, principles and convictions that I firmly believe in. I raised them at the party platform. And to be honest with you, I think the AICC central leadership was very cognizant of the fact that these are very, very important issues. And that is the reason today BJP is now, helpless. They were not even able to raise issues that they should have raised as an opposition. So I'm saying that Rajasthan will see a change of events. 30-year tradition of 5 years BJP, 5-year Congress, that will come to an end. The Congress party will come back with a greater mandate than we had last time. So this 30-year tradition is about to break and Congress party will form a majority government in Rajasthan.
Okay, you talked about young faces being given a chance. You're young. I mean, why should you not be seen as the next chief minister should the Congress party come to power here? Or have you pulled yourself out of that race?
I don't think anybody is in the race or being pulled out of the race. Once we get a majority, then the MLAs will sit down and pass a resolution authorizing the leadership in Delhi to decide. That is the practice, the tradition and the custom of the Congress party, not just in Rajasthan, in all the states that go to polls for decades together. There's nothing new. I'm not stating something that's not known. First, let's get the majority, let's win this election, and then the MLAs and leadership will decide. The people's voices will be heard, MLAs will give opinion, and the ultimate decision lies with the AICC. In 2018, when I was party president, we won the elections, and we authorized the Congress president to choose who the next chief minister will be. Exactly the same thing will happen this time also.
From Rajasthan to Madhya Pradesh, which also goes to elections in just a few days from now. But what exactly are the issues there? It looks like the Grand Ram Temple that's going to be thrown open to devotees in January is finding a place in poll campaign in Madhya Pradesh. My colleague Aman Sharma gets us this report from Bhopal. Take a look.
ये राम मंदिर तो अयोध्या में बन रहा है, पर मध्य प्रदेश भोपाल में भी वो मुद्दा बन गया है. एक तरह से लोग बीजेपी बहुत बात कर रहा है. आपको लगा ये एक मुद्दा है जिसपे लोग वोट डालेंगे?
ये तो शुरू से ही देखा जा रहा, राम मंदिर तो मुद्दा था, बट इस बार थोड़ा रोजगार, क्योंकि जो पटवारी वगैरह देखा जाए, मैं खुद एक कंपटीशन का छात्र हूँ, अभी मेरा भी नहीं हुआ इस साल, कि मेरे भी कुछ मार्क्स से ही रहा है. वो तो ठीक है, चलो मेरी प्रिपरेशन अच्छी नहीं थी क्योंकि मैं सेंट्रल लेवल की तैयारी कर रहा हूँ, तो व्यापम में ठीक है मेरा नहीं था, बट मैं लाइब्रेरी जाता हूँ, मैं साथ वाले थे, तो उनका बहुत इस बार मतलब सरकार से बहुत खफा है रोजगार के मामले में. सबसे बड़ा तो पटवारी घोटाला, कि जिसमें आपने खुद देखा कि जो टॉपर थे उनसे सवाल पूछा हमने, लंदन टॉप वगैरह जो अपने यूट्यूब पे चैनल है, तो उनने सवाल पूछा तो वो जवाब कहाँ दे पाए. तो थोड़ा शक की निगाह में तो जा रहा है, जिस कारण मैं MP नगर में ही रहता हूँ, छात्रों के बीच में मेरे दोस्त लोग काफ़ी सब रोजगार के मुद्दे पर तो काफ़ी नाराज है. ऐसा ही आज 6 साल हो गई नहीं आई, तो इस कारण सब नाराज है रोजगार के मुद्दे में ज़्यादा. हाँ, राम मंदिर ठीक है, वो तो हमारी आस्था है, वो तो अच्छी चीज़ है, वो तो मैं दिल से मानता हूँ, वो तो ठीक है, बट रोजगार तो वो थोड़ा इशू है इस बार.
Interesting that person is saying that Ram Temple is a matter of devotion, but unemployment and recruitment exams not going through is also a major problem which is going against the BJP, and people are a bit angry about that. भाई साहब, इस इलेक्शन में हम देख रहे हैं कि राम मंदिर की बहुत बात हो रही है मध्य प्रदेश में इलेक्शन में. आपको लगता है राम मंदिर यहाँ कोई मुद्दा है मध्य प्रदेश में? बीजेपी बहुत बात कर रही है उसके बारे में.
नहीं सर, ऐसा तो कोई मुद्दा है नहीं. यहाँ पे वैसे ही बीजेपी ने बहुत विकास करा है, बहुत ज़्यादा डेवलपमेंट हुआ है बीजेपी द्वारा, तो मेरे ख्याल से डेवलपमेंट ही मेन पॉइंट रहेगा यहाँ पे.
डेवलपमेंट ज़्यादा बड़ा पॉइंट रहेगा. तो क्योंकि फिर ये इतना राम मंदिर की बात फिर क्यों होती है इतनी? लोग बोल रहे हैं, बीजेपी बोलती है 3 दिवाली होंगी इस साल. मतलब क्या आपको लग रहा है कि लोगों को ये एक तरह से कि वोट बीजेपी को इसलिए मिले कि अब इतने सालों बाद मंदिर बनने जा रहा है?
सर, मेरे को ऐसा नहीं लगता कि राम मंदिर इतना बड़ा मुद्दा है, पर है मुद्दा, पर मेन तो डेवलपमेंट ही है. जो डेवलपमेंट हुआ है शिवराज सरकार में, वो मेरे ख्याल से इसके पहले ना कभी हुआ था और ना शायद कभी होगा.
But that is time for a quick break here on this edition, but lots lined up for you on the other side. Do stay tuned.
Gopal Rai.
This.
Smoke rises behind Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital. In the courtyard and corridors are thousands of displaced people. Israeli forces fought Hamas militants among ruined buildings in the north of the Gaza Strip on Thursday, inching their way closer to Al-Shifa and another main hospital in Gaza City. In the emergency room, this man says he and others tried to head south, but when they reached the road, a tank fired at them. Others fled along a frontline route. The White House said on Thursday Israel has agreed to pause operations in northern Gaza for 4 hours a day from Thursday, the first sign of respite in Gaza's war, allowing people to flee along 2 humanitarian corridors. Some of those escaping on Thursday said they feared another Nakba, the catastrophe of their mass dispossession after Israel was founded in 1948.
They are driving people to schools and scaring them so they would leave. What we see today is a plan for a second exodus.
What do things look like behind us?
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5 with me, Poonam Burde. Ayodhya is all decked up. You are going to be seeing the Grand Deepotsav tomorrow. 24 hours before that, CNN News 18 is taking stock on ground. The excitement is also building because we're just a few months away from the inauguration of the Grand Ram Temple, one of which the way was paved by the Supreme Court itself. What does the Grand Temple look like? How is it going to be once it's thrown open in January? We get you a sneak peek.
प्रविसी नगर कीजिए सब काजा, हृदय राख कौशलपुर राजा। प्रभु राम को अपने हृदय में रखकर उनकी नगरी में प्रवेश करेंगे तो सब कुछ अच्छा होगा। हमने भी उनको अपने हृदय में रखकर अयोध्या नगरी में प्रवेश किया है और हम पहुंच आए हैं प्रभु राम के दिव्य और भव्य मंदिर में। मंदिर का निर्माण चल रहा है। न्यूज 18 पर आपको हर तस्वीर दिखाएंगे कि कितना ये मंदिर बन चुका है, कितना खूबसूरत प्रभु श्री राम का ये मंदिर है, क्यों कहा जा रहा है कि इससे दिव्य और भव्य मंदिर कहीं बना नहीं है। हर एक तस्वीर आपके साथ साझा करेंगे। ये वो सीढ़ियां हैं जिनको चढ़ते हुए हम चलेंगे सीधा सिंह द्वार की तरफ। इन सीढ़ियों को चढ़ते हुए आप जब पहुंचेंगे ऊपर तो सबसे पहले आपको सिंह द्वार मिलेगा। ये सामने आपको सिंह द्वार दिखाई पड़ रहा है और सिंह द्वार से आप प्रवेश करेंगे तो आपको बारी बारी से 5 मंडप मिलेंगे। उन मंडप की तस्वीर भी आपको दिखाएंगे। वहां जो शानदार नक्काशी की गई है उसकी भी तस्वीर दिखाएंगे। जो मार्बल्स लगाए जा रहे हैं उसकी तस्वीर भी दिखाएंगे और साथ ही साथ द्वार किस तरीके से बनाए जा रहे हैं प्रभु श्री राम के वो भी दिखाएंगे और आखिर में आपको लेकर चलेंगे गर्भगृह तक। तो इन सीढ़ियों से चढ़ते हुए ये अब हम आ गए हैं सिंह द्वार के ठीक सामने। ये देखिए आप सामने आपको सिंह द्वार दिखाई पड़ रहा है जो कि बनकर तैयार है और सबसे ऊपर आप देखेंगे तो जय श्री राम लिखा हुआ है। कई सालों से प्रभु श्री राम के भक्त जय श्री राम का नारा लगाते आ रहे थे, लेकिन जब वो अयोध्या आ रहे थे तो रामलला के दर्शन कहां कर रहे थे? अस्थायी मंदिर में। ये प्रभु श्री राम के टाट से ठाट तक की यात्रा है और उनका ठाट यहीं पर होगा। यही वो दिव्य और भव्य राम मंदिर है जिसका 500 वर्षों से इंतजार था। 500 वर्षों की तपस्या का ये परिणाम है जो आज आप देख पा रहे हैं। ये संकल्प है जो सिद्धि में तब्दील हो चुका है। तो सिंह द्वार से प्रवेश करके हम सबसे पहले पहुंच गए हैं कीर्तन मंडप में। कीर्तन मंडप की तस्वीरें आपको दिखा देते हैं। ये देखिए आप किस तरीके से शानदार नक्काशी की जा रही है इन स्तंभों पर। दिन रात ये कारीगर इसमें जुटे हुए हैं कलाकृतियों को बनाने में। आप ये देखिए यहाँ पर भगवान शिव हैं, उनके साथ माता पार्वती हैं। इसी तरीके से हर स्तंभ पर आपको एक अलग अलग कलाकृति देखने को मिलेगी। पहले देखिए यहाँ पर ये डिजाइन तैयार किया गया है और उसके बाद आप देखिए इन भाई साहब को एक इसी आकृति को उकेर रहे हैं। ये शानदार नक्काशी कर रहे हैं। यहाँ पर देखिए आसान नहीं होता है, इसमें बहुत बारीकी से नक्काशी करनी होती है क्योंकि ये स्तंभ पहले से यहाँ पर लग चुका है। आप सोचिए इसमें गलती की रत्ती भर भी गुंजाइश नहीं है। जिस कलाकृति को उकेरना है उसी को उकेरना है और उसमें किसी प्रकार की कोई इनके पास गुंजाइश नहीं है कि कमी रह जाए। मैं कैमरामैन नरेश से कहूंगा जो आकृतियां बन गई उसको दिखाएं। ये देखिए आप इसी तरीके से आपको हर स्तंभ पर कोई न कोई कलाकृति देखने को मिलेगी जो कि यहाँ पर ये कारीगर दिन रात उकेर रहे हैं। 24 घंटे यहाँ पर लगातार काम चल रहा है। तकरीबन 2500 कारीगर हैं जो कि दिन रात यहाँ पर जुटे हुए मेहनत कर रहे हैं। देखिए आप भगवान शिव की ये कलाकृति यहाँ पर उकेरी गई है। इसी तरीके से आपको हर स्तंभ पर एक कलाकृति देखने को मिलेगी और इसके पीछे की भी अपनी कहानियां हैं जो धीरे धीरे आप जान पाएंगे, सुन पाएंगे। जब यहाँ पर आप दर्शन के लिए आएंगे तब आप जान पाएंगे कि किस तरीके से इन कलाकृतियों को उकेरा गया और इसके पीछे की क्या कहानी है। तो अब हम आ गए हैं रंग मंडप में। रंग मंडप में अभी भी निर्माण कार्य चल रहा है। आप देखिए ऊपर अभी यहाँ पर छत नहीं बनी है, वो गुंबद नहीं बना है। इसके पीछे का कारण ये है कि रंग मंडप को द्वितीय तल तक जाना है। तो अभी जब राम मंदिर का उद्घाटन हो जाएगा, श्रद्धालु यहाँ पर आएंगे, तब भी निर्माण कार्य चल रहा होगा, लिहाजा सुरक्षा की दृष्टि से इसको ढका जाएगा। और इसके ऊपर जब प्रथम तल का और द्वितीय तल का गुंबद बन जाएगा, उसके बाद ये रंग मंडप तैयार होगा। इसी रंग मंडप से आपको दो और द्वार मिलेंगे। देखिए आप, एक दाईं तरफ का द्वार है और एक बाईं तरफ द्वार है। यहाँ से भी आप मंदिर में दर्शन करने के बाद नीचे की तरफ उतर सकते हैं। देखिए आप, एक बाईं तरफ एक द्वार बनाया गया है, एक दाईं तरफ द्वार है और एक मेन सिंह द्वार है, जहां से चढ़ते हुए हम ऊपर तक आए हैं। तो ये 3 द्वार है। जब आप मंदिर परिसर में प्रवेश करेंगे और उसके बाद रामलला के दर्शन के लिए आएंगे, तो मेन आप सिंह द्वार से आएंगे और आगे बढ़कर आएंगे तो आपको ये 2 द्वार मिलेंगे। तो ये रंग मंडप है। आप देखिए यहाँ पर भी अभी भी निर्माण कार्य चल रहा है। शानदार नक्काशी यहाँ पर भी की जा रही है, कलाकृतियां भी यहाँ पर बनाई जा रही हैं और तमाम कारीगर आप देखिए यहाँ पर पूरी शिद्दत के साथ राम मंदिर को आकार देने में जुटे हुए हैं। तो गुड़ मंडप यानी गुरु मंडप के ठीक पास का ये वो गलियारा है, जिससे होते हुए आप रामलला के दर्शन के लिए आगे जा पाएंगे। तो हम आपको लेकर चलेंगे उस स्थान तक जहां पर खड़े होकर आप अपने रामलला को निहार पाएंगे, उनको देख पाएंगे। यहां से होते हुए जब आप गर्भगृह के ठीक सामने पहुंचेंगे, यहां पर आपको रोक दिया जाएगा। यहीं से आप रामलला के दर्शन कर पाएंगे, यहीं से आप उनको निहार पाएंगे और आपका सदियों का इंतजार समाप्त हो जाएगा जब यहां खड़े होकर आप रामलला को देख पाएंगे। बताया जाए सिर्फ पुजारी को जाने की परमिशन होगी, आम श्रद्धालुओं को यहीं पर रोक दिया जाएगा। और जो अनुमान लगाया गया है ट्रस्ट की तरफ से कि तकरीबन 70 से 75 हजार श्रद्धालु हर दिन यहां पर रामलला के दर्शन के लिए आएंगे। आगे आने वाले दिनों में उनकी संख्या बढ़कर 1 लाख से ऊपर भी चली जाएगी। तो तकरीबन 18 सेकंड के आसपास का मौका होगा आपके पास, जब आप यहीं पर खड़े होकर आप अपने रामलला को निहार पाएंगे और उसके बाद यहां से आगे बढ़ जाएंगे। अब हम चलेंगे गर्भगृह की तरफ, जहां पर रामलला को विराजमान किया जाएगा। उनकी चल विग्रह डोली यहां पर विराजमान होगी और यही वो स्थान है जहां पर 5 अगस्त 2020 को प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने शिला पूजन किया था। इस स्थान को हम प्रणाम और उसके बाद गर्भगृह में हम प्रवेश करते हैं। आप आइए देखिए, ये वो स्थान है, ये वो स्थान है जहां पर रामलला को विराजमान किया जाना है। बाल स्वरूप उनकी प्रतिमा होगी जो कि यहाँ पर स्थापित की जाएगी। अयोध्या में इस वक्त उस प्रतिमा का निर्माण भी चल रहा है। बताया जा रहा है कि तकरीबन 52 इंच की उनकी हाइट होगी। 52 इंच मतलब यह है कि 4 साल के आसपास की उम्र बताई जा रही है कि रामलला की इतनी इस उम्र की प्रतिमा होगी रामलला की, जो कि यहाँ पर स्थापित की। तो 5 सदियों का इंतजार समाप्त होने जा रहा है। रामलला अपने गर्भगृह में विराजमान होने जा रहे हैं। 22 जनवरी 2024 वो तारीख होगी जब रामलला अपने गर्भगृह में विराजमान हो जाएंगे। और उससे पहले हम आपको रामलला का मंदिर कितना बन चुका है, कितना आकार ले चुका है, वो दिखाने के लिए लाए हैं। ये गर्भगृह है और उसके ठीक सामने ये प्रवेश द्वार के ऊपर आप देखिए यहाँ पर कलाकृतियों को घेरा जा रहा है। ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश की आकृति यहाँ पर बनाई जा रही है। गर्भगृह के बारे में आपको बता दें, रामलला की जो प्रतिमा होगी वो तकरीबन 52 इंच की होगी, लेकिन उसके नीचे 20 इंच का एक कमल पुष्प भी होगा, जिसके ऊपर रामलला को विराजमान किया जाएगा। बाल स्वरूप में उनको विराजमान किया जाएगा। तो उस कमल पुष्प और रामलला की प्रतिमा की अगर कुल ऊंचाई की बात करें तो 72 इंच के आसपास उसकी ऊंचाई होगी। यहीं पर रामलला की चल विग्रह दोनों स्वरूपों को रखा जाएगा। उनका जो चल स्वरूप है इस वक्त वो अस्थायी मंदिर में विराजमान है, उनको भी यहाँ पर लाया जाएगा और साथ ही साथ रामलला के बाल स्वरूप की प्राण प्रतिष्ठा भी यहाँ पर 22 जनवरी को की जानी है।
Ayodhya is getting decked up for the grand Deepotsav celebrations day after tomorrow, and perhaps right now I am at Ram Ki Paddy, and this time's target is 21 lakhs diyas, which will be lit up a day before Diwali. So right now we are at Ram Ki Paddy, and perhaps you can see, and it is for our viewers, that the empty diyas have already been kept in a row. And on that day of Deepotsav, the entire Ram Ki Paddy will be lit up with these diyas. Now I'm being joined by 2 of the renowned Maharaj of Ayodhya city. We'll be speaking to them. Maharaj ji, ये बताइए कि 21 लाख पहुंच गया है टारगेट दिया का, और अब अभी हम जहां बात कर रहे हैं 21 लाख दिए लगाए गए हैं, लगाए जा भी रहे हैं। 21 लाख का टारगेट पूरा करना है। क्या महत्व है और कितना चैलेंजिंग होता है अयोध्या के लिए 21 लाख दियों के साथ दीपोत्सव मनाना?
देखिए 2017 से ये दीपोत्सव प्रारंभ हुआ, 1,80,000 से लेकर के और आज ये 25 लाख दिए लगाए गए हैं। और जब हम 25 लगाते हैं तब जाकर के 21 का रिकॉर्ड बना पाते हैं।
अच्छा,
तो लगभग ये 7 दिन पहले से कार्यक्रम शुरू हो जाता है बच्चों के द्वारा ये, और जो हमारे समाज के विद्यालय हैं उन विद्यालयों के द्वारा प्रारंभ होता है। और अब ये 25 लाख दिए लग चुके हैं। ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण होता है इतने दियों को एक साथ जलाना, सुरक्षा को लेकर के। लेकिन इससे एक बात ये देखा जाती है कि अयोध्या की गरिमा तो इससे बढ़ती है, पर इससे जो जुड़े हुए लोग हैं उनको बहुत सारा रोजगार मिलता है। दिए बनाने वाले लोग हैं उनको इससे रोजगार मिलता है, इसमें लाइटिंग करने वाले लोग हैं और इतने सारे यात्री आते हैं। और एक ये जो दीपोत्सव है ये भगवान श्री राम की कथाओं से ही जुड़ा हुआ है। जब भगवान श्री राम लंका से अयोध्या आए थे तो अयोध्या वासियों ने दीपक जलाए थे। उसी कॉन्सेप्ट को लेकर के ये दीपोत्सव मनाया जा रहा है और निरंतर अपने ही रिकॉर्ड को तोड़ते हुए अयोध्या अब 21 लाख दीपों के साथ जो 25 लाख दिए बिछा करके और 21 लाख का रिकॉर्ड बनाने के लिए तैयार है। तो ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण हो जाता है कि दिया न केवल अंधकार को समाप्त करता है बल्कि हमारे हृदय के ज्ञान का प्रकाश रूपी दिया भी अज्ञान को समाप्त करके और सत्य और निष्ठा की स्थापना करता है।
Okay, so there you see, even the preparations are underway. The trial is going on as far as the laser show is concerned, and also on my left you can see the LED screens have been put up by the government on which the murals and films will be played on the day of Deepotsav. So grand celebrations are going to take place on the occasion of Deepotsav at Ram Ki Padi, where we are reporting from.
RP Sanjeev Goenka Group presents CNN News 18 Indian of the Year 2023, and the nominees for the entertainment category are Shah Rukh Khan, Mani Ratnam, Sunny Deol, Deepika Padukone, Manoj Bajpayee. Vote now on www.indianoftheyear.com and choose the Indians conquering the world.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. There was some divine intervention earlier today for Delhiites. After 10 days of choking weather, various parts of the national capital region received some light rain, making the air a little lighter. But mind you, the air quality is still under unhealthy category, and various parts of Delhi have recorded an AQI ranging from 200 to 300. The Supreme Court again today slammed Arvind Kejriwal-led Delhi government for its response or lack of it to rising air pollution in Delhi, emphasizing the recurring nature of this issue. After last hearing, where the court even questioned the rationale of an odd-even scheme when the problem is primarily due to farm fires in Punjab this time of the year, Delhi government today also announced that it is shelving plans for the post-Diwali odd-even implementation for now. The Supreme Court today asked the question which each and every person living in the national capital region should and possibly will ask